Hey friends, Grand Rising, coming to you this very foggy morning from atop overlooking Topanga Canyon here, and coming at you with some more hawk medicine today, more hawk wisdom for you. They've been hitting me hard these last couple weeks, so coming at you with it, sharing the knowledge, sharing the messages and the wisdom of nature, So last night I was walking the dog in the neighborhood, and I saw a Cooper's hawk chasing its prey, which is typically birds, and kind of caught it out of the corner of my eye. Bigger bird chasing a smaller bird. I said, "Oh, that's a hawk," and really paid close attention and watched it, and kind of almost pinned it up against a rooftop crevice across the street from where I was, and then it got away and shot across the street, and it ended up landing on a little rooftop ridge right above where I was standing. So I stood there and took a couple little pictures of it. Kind of hard to see in the dark. It was dusk, so it was just sun was kind of set just a little bit, a little light out still, but pretty dark for the most part. And got to see a pretty good sized Cooper hawk. We have a family of them in our Cooper's hawk that live in our neighborhood. They had a nest a couple years ago, and the couple of young, I think, still kind of peruse the streets, kind of run those streets. So it was really interesting because, a couple of times throughout the last few years, I've seen some real carnage around the neighborhood from the Cooper's hawks. Pigeon carcasses, plumage all over the place, for different things from some of these Cooper hawks attacking its prey. And this is another aspect of the hawk, is that it really shows us that nature is not always pretty, right? Sometimes nature can be ugly, sometimes nature can be very cruel and very harsh. And this really harkens to the spiritual path as well, because the nature of the spiritual path is not an easy one. It's not always pretty. It's not always bliss and joy and, all those types of things. A lot of times it has a lot of darkness to it. It has a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of, gruesomeness to it, right? It's dark, it's ugly. And, just like the hawk going after its prey, it's a natural instinct, it's a natural thing, it's what it needs to do for its sustenance. But, in the wake of it, sometimes is some pretty ugly carnage, and this is just the law of nature, right? And, you think about the prey that, sacrifices itself or is overcome, if you will, by the predator. This also really aligns with the spiritual path, because the small self has to die. Something in you has to die in order for you to rise up as something new. And this is, a lot of spiritual traditions, but in the Sufi tradition, we talk about dying before you die. It's the death before you die. It's dying to the little self so that you can rise up in the larger self. It's dying of the ego so that you can live from the divine will. And this is really a process that's really seen in this predator-prey scenario, because the pigeon, let's say, dies so that it can become sustenance and food for the hawk. And so in doing so, it inadvertently becomes the hawk. It rises up into a new existence where its spirit is free, but its physical form actually becomes part of the physical form of the predator that is eating it and taking it in as sustenance. And this is really truly how it is. The dying of oneself, or the sacrificing of the ego or the lower self, really does create sustenance. You don't die, you become divine. You let go of that lower self, that lower death drive, the lower ego drive, and you become divinity, and you slide into that divine part of yourself that really is something much greater than what you would have been if you'd have stayed in that small ego mind. And this is, this is very much true with the predator and prey aspect. And again, so the couple takeaways here, nature is not always pretty. It's sometimes it can be a little brutal. It can be a little harsh. The spiritual path is like that. We call it the dark night of the soul for a reason, because the body goes through tremendous pain and suffering for the spirit to really rise up and grow. And I say the body, as a lot of it's mental, a lot of it's emotional, a lot of it's those aspects, but it takes on physical form. A lot of times we have, physical aches, pains, ailments, stomach problems, different types of diseases, dis-ease that comes along because we're out of harmony, we're out of sync with our true harmonious nature. And this is something that we're trying to overcome. So it is a dark night of the soul. It is a very negative process. It's not always real simple. For the hawk to, take on this sustenance, it has to imbibe it, it has to assimilate it, it has to, bring it into its being, and that lower creature dies off in the process. And this is the same as the spiritual path. It's the same process. So yeah, that was a couple little things that I took away from that little hawk encounter last night. Is how nature it can be harsh. The nature of the path can be harsh, and the lower self has to die so that it can rise up in the higher self. So it can take on a new body and fly and soar in the way that it was really intended to, as a divine being. So yeah, just a couple thoughts that I had today, a little more hawk wisdom, hawk medicine for you. Like I said, they've been coming at me a lot the last couple days. I'm sure one or two more will present themselves in the next day or so, but just wanted to share that thought with you today. And hopefully tomorrow the Cooper hawk will find his meal and eat well, because he missed it last night. Oh, and ironically, right after that, I actually saw another hawk a couple of trees over. I thought it was an owl. It was huge, but at that point it was so dark I couldn't really see, couldn't really make out exactly what it was. But they're out there. Nature speaks when you're ready to hear it. So tune in and listen up and see what old nature tells you. All right. Okay, friends, have a good day, and we'll talk soon.